And his head spun around and he was just looking at me. And I knew that he could see something emanating from me, because children are very sensitive to energy and to light, and their mind hasn't been completely shut down. They're still very connected to the Father. And I'm sure he could see something. So that became a bit of a witness to me that I'm here as a high tower and a transmission tower of love, and to shine forth anything that I have attained within myself in the way of regeneration, in the way of realignment with the holiness of God, to amplify that, to increase the signal from my high tower, and to transmit to other towers that could also, like a transmitter tower for a mobile phone. Transmitter towers would transmit to other transmitter towers, and then you'd increase the range of the signal so that other mobile phones could actually pick up in more remote areas, and you could amplify the signal. And so my idea is that we all are those high towers. We all are the transmission tower of the knowledge of God, and that there are many receivers around that are tuning into many, many other frequencies, and they're getting information from this world. But if our signal could be like a very powerful signal that would tend to tune the receivers of others. In other words, ours would be like a signal that would reconfigure the tuner. The tuner would be the one that tunes into a certain frequency in the world. To increase our frequency and to make it so fragrant and beautiful that it would start to cause people to tune into it. It would start to cause people to say, well, I want that. I want that frequency that I can feel coming in on my antenna, in the outer fields of my body-mind, washing up on the shoreline of my receptivity. I feel this ancient beauty. I feel this fragrance of love washing me, and it's starting to penetrate into my inner being, and it's coming in behind the defenses. It's coming in behind all of those other things that I've placed and blocked out this love with. So my feeling and my mission would be to become a greater transmitter of this beautiful love, of this light, a fragrant offering to those who sit in darkness. It reminds me in the Bible it says, a great light has come into the world, and those who sit in darkness shall be healed. A great light has come into the world. And that's really what I feel I'm here for. It doesn't really matter if I'm writing the books, if I'm talking on Pal Talk, if I'm walking down into the supermarket, if I'm sitting out in the forest here all alone, if I'm working a job, if I'm driving the car, if I'm visiting my friends or family, it doesn't really matter what I'm doing in the outward form. I am that high tower, and my determination within myself is to have a greater antenna myself, connected into the intricate workings of the God mind, more and more and more, and to be able to carry a greater quantum and a greater networking, have a greater networking of intimacy with the creatures on the earth, with the creatures in the earth. And with the Kathara healing that we've been doing and practicing, I've spoken before about the harmonic universal frequency bands of the DNA strands of communication of light and sound, electric, magnetic. And it sort of is very much like, you might say, this modern world of computers and radio and television and communication networks that we see throughout the world. You know, there is a networking of electromagnetic light and sound fields, but this spiritual communication is on a far more sophisticated, clean, pure energy, and we tap into what we call the 15th dimensional structure. You know, in the 15 dimension universe, in the 15 dimensional physics, there are many higher elements of construction that communicate into greater bandwidths of communication. So the higher the frequency of our own elemental communication, the higher the overriding ability would be to override lower frequencies. And so, as we know, fear is a very low base frequency. It runs on some of what we call the lower chakra areas of the multidimensional anatomy. Fear is running in those lower vibrational and communication levels. Love is the highest frequency, and it's full communication. It's what encompasses all things. And so we've been able to pull down into our own high tower, our own anatomy, higher dimensional frequency communication and elemental constitution to gain a greater broadcast signal and a greater, more penetrating voice for God, to penetrate the shields and the defenses of our other parts of ourselves, those who sit in darkness, and to be a soft and gentle voice of awakening, to be a beautiful soft light shining in the eyes of those who sleep, to have a voice that can be encouraging, have a voice that can touch those intimate parts of our brothers and sisters in ways that are not offensive but are a gentle reminder that hey, you are accepted in the beloved. You are accepted in this beloved Christ. You are accepted in the Father's house of love. You can return. You can change your mind. You can choose again. You can taste and see that this beautiful life is good. You can trust that part of yourself which is still connected to God and has not forgotten. You can find the strength to stand up and to let that life flow through you, to dissolve all of those barriers of fear that you've placed around you. And so it is with my beautiful intention that I gather all of us now into a beautiful place of memory. I gather you all with my everlasting arms of love. I collect you and gather you together